Hi there, I'm Sean.
And my name is Axel.
And we're here at Scaregrounds in Wakefield. This is another Scare Maze for our Scare Maze extravaganza this month. And this one is one we went to last year. It's quite good. It's quite similar to Camelot in the sense that it's all open in open space, and they've got like scare actors dotted about throughout the different mazes, but they do tend to tell a bit more of a story in this one. But that being said, it's an amazing scare festival. It was one that we booked on a whim last year, and it was so good that we decided to come back, even though it's like 60 miles away. So
it's
like
an hour drive. It's located in Wakefield, and it is on the aptly named Hell's Lane. What an epic name for a road, especially for a scare event to be located on. So we are here, we're about to go inside. This is one of them ones where you have to do the design trail. You cannot choose and pick which house you want to go in. You've got to follow the trail around from start to finish. So I don't know how much we can film, but we'll sure get as much footage as we can. And on that note, let's head inside.
The Yorkshire Scaregrounds Screen Park is constructed on a historic 24-acre estate in Wakefield, West Yorkshire. This event features 5 spine-chilling scare attractions and 2 terrifying scare zones. The Scaregrounds are designed to thrill, scare and entertain you with live actors, authentic sets, atmospheric lighting, horrifying sound, creepy animatronics, pitch black darkness and confined spaces as you bend, crawl, crouch, jump and dash through the haunted attractions. The whole event is around 40 minutes of fear on one straight trail of horror. And as you cannot choose what mazes to experience, once you enter the event, you cannot leave. Until they let you.
Welcome to the Yorkshire Scareground Screen Park.
So the first one was the clown one, the circus one, weren't it, Axel?
Yeah.
And that was actually really good. Like they snuck up on you. It's more of like an intro before you get to like the first like enclosed maze, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they use some stuff quite well. They sneak up on you, they follow you around, and there's some pretty jumpy bits in there. There's a bit where there's like a clown hanging over your head. You don't even realise.
True. It really sets the scene well. It's basically themed to like an abandoned fairground circus in the middle of a forest, and you journey through it, and you know the inhabitants of whatever is left behind attack you, get you. To be honest, it's a really good intro.
Yeah, very strong.
So with each section you go into like a pre-show, and you play a video at the beginning of every bit to basically introduce you into it, let you know the story and what you're getting yourself in for. The first main section that we went into was called An Experiment, and it was basically themed to a laboratory or science experiments where they chop off one guy's arm and attach it to another person, that kind of stuff.
Some great set pieces in there.
Throughout the whole thing there was great set pieces. There is specific ones that stand out, and that one was one of them.
Had great set pieces. They had like people with 2 heads stapled together. There was a lot of stuff in that first maze that I thought was absolutely brilliant. They really played with this. Like this is one of these parks where they're really good at playing with your senses. Straight from the first one, you're in claustrophobic. There's things in your way. You're plunged into darkness. Which, when we came last year, by the way, someone put their torch on and we were absolutely fuming about it. So that wasn't ruined this year. And you got the full, like, you want to be scared, and you got the full, like, night terror, fear of the dark in there.
True.
And then they really you know, they time their jump scares well. Doesn't matter whether it's front or the back, you get something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Whether you was at the front or the back, you was always getting scared. And if you was at the back, he was following you around.
Yeah.
And some of them was at the back and some of them was at the front.
And they really did well in that first maze. So
and in the first one as well, I'd like to mention the animatronics in there was amazing. Big ones, small ones, but some very unique animatronics that I've not seen anywhere before. Or you know, it's almost like they're homemade or specially made.
But they're really good.
But they're really good, yeah.
So this one's blocked, you'll have to eat it over there. Sorry. No, I just found it short by accident. Sorry. Sorry!
After that, you go into a section called the Kill Grounds. You go into a little holding area where a man's there in all bush gear, and he says to you, we'll give you 30 seconds to have a head start. After that, you're in it on your own, and this is the Kill Grounds, who can survive. And in that one, one half of me is still soaking wet.
Yeah. Again, another thing that's really good about this, they use the opportunity of the fact that you've agreed to have certain things happen to you, and they take full advantage of that. They're squirting you with water. They work really well as a team in this one. Do you remember when they sort of like doubled up on us, scare us once as we went through and once as we were coming out? And like
so they used the distraction method, great, where you're looking that way because he scared you, but then there's another one there, so it's double jump scare.
And the zombies weren't as scary as the people that were warning you about the zombies. Well,
what I would like to say is, even though they weren't as scary, the characterization of the actors here was great. They always stayed in character. Even when you're leaving the area and you turn around and look behind you, they're still in full character, which really adds to the atmosphere and the experience.
100%. I think it's really well done in this place, and they've clearly thought about how they can maximise scares per like character. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of stuff going into these that you don't realise. But when you've been to a few mazes where they haven't thought about these, you can see like, they thought how to make this as scary as possible. And sometimes it doesn't work it doesn't work every time, but more often than not, it proper makes you jump. And it was again a really good open. That one wasn't really a maze, was it? Because this park sort of has like a maze, then like a scare zone that you sort of like get led like you sort of have to walk through, and that was one of the scare zones, but they treat it as a maze, so you're constantly getting scared. This is what I mean, it's really well done.
Office work. How's the party? How are you doing, Nancy? A romantic evening.
The next section was Whitechapel, and it was themed to Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And to be honest, for me, that was the standout for set, because you walk around like a town and it literally feels like a little town.
Yeah.
In some bits, you're walking through alleys where they've got like washing lines up with, you know, hanging the washing out or whatever. With each house that you go in, because as I say, you're walking through the town, you go through people's houses, through people's shops, through the bar in the town, and each little part has its own individual story. But in keeping with the main story, in that, you know, Jack's out there's a new killer, but they've all got their own little things going on. Like, you go into one of the shops and he says, you know, I sell leather here, but it's human leather, your skin looks nice. There's another one, a shop that sells weapons, and she's like, this one could be bad in the wrong hands. You go into the bar and they're like, there's a new killer on the loose, but try one of my drinks, it's got a special ingredient. So it was great, but that was really the standout for set for me.
I get what you're saying about set. It really was probably one of the best, apart from maybe the house.
The Dollhouse.
The Dollhouse was also very good for set. But I found that this one was probably the most... I don't want to put it down because it was really good, but it wasn't the scariest for me. It
wasn't the scariest.
It felt like they were trying to creep you out more than make you jump. And I get that. but there could have been a few more jump scares in there. Just actors banging things or like waving knives about would have done the trick, because they were all very much in their station and gave you your personal space, and you just walked through their shop or whatever and they said something, and then that was basically all the jump scare. There wasn't really any jump scares until at the end when Jack the Ripper chases you, but by that point you're already out of the maze.
Yeah, but the thing is, you've had jump scares through all the other ones.
Yeah,
So in that one, it kind of slows the pace down.
Yeah.
Or gives you a different scare in that it's very atmospheric. It's not just about the jumps, it's about what's going on in this town. It's a different kind of scare, isn't it? Well, which is good here because they have a lot of different kind of scares. They don't just have the jump scares, they don't just have the atmospheric builds, they have many different ones. They have it all throughout the different sections.
And that one was very creepy, as I mentioned before. Like, it was very creepy. It just wasn't as scary as the rest of it, but it was creepy and it was very well done. I think at the end of October.
So from one amazing set to another amazing set, we went from Whitechapel to the Dollhouse.
Yep.
Now the Dollhouse is its own individual queue line that you are outside of, and you basically are greeted by a human doll.
Yep.
It says, "Come inside the Dollhouse, my master is waiting for you," basically.
Yep.
You go in there and there's another video. To be honest, it was my favourite video out of all of them, because it was explaining like basically the dolls are coming alive and all the toys are coming alive. And in there was certain scenes where you'd walk around like a dining table and it was all just big teddies sat there, and one of them would stand up, and that really gotcha. But there was a really unique part in that maze where you went into a lift, and the lift, it felt like it was travelling in it. And it would jump like it's hit the floor, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That was brilliant. Again, another brilliant one for set. This one had a lot more jump scares in it as well. It was just really creepy. Another one where they played with your senses. They took it all into pitch black darkness. So you're just walking around in pitch black darkness. It was brilliant. I really enjoy this this particular maze. I'm pretty sure last year when we came, that was the end one, wasn't it?
Feels like it, but I really don't know.
But then I feel like I remember the teeth one. But I remember being in darkness and then coming out into the bit where the chainsaws were.
Yeah.
And that was the
Really changed the layout.
No, not really. But it was amazing.
And in that maze, again, coming back to the set, it feels like you are walking through an old abandoned house. The sets where you walk through it and you see the staircase going up the stairs, it feels massive.
Yeah.
And there's so much in there. It's like a hoarder of dolls.
Yeah.
Big ones, small ones. If you are scared of dolls, it would creep you the hell out. And I'm not scared of them, but it does set the scene and you're thinking, which one of these is human or real? You really don't know.
And they do jump out at you
don't
thinking
know.
they're not real, and it's terrifying.
But again, it was another one for great animatronics. They had some massive animatronics in there. Really, really well done. Really well done. The final maze was known as Tooth Fairy, so it was another one where you go in there and you play a video. You know, they want you to smile.
The Tooth Fairy one, again, brilliant props in that one, brilliant. Not just the set, the props. You look at some of the heads in there, man. You can see all the teeth, you can see everything. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually were killing people and putting their heads on display.
Oh yeah, it was great for the makeup. The makeup and special effects in there, great. Really good.
Yeah, another thing that I've completely not even mentioned, the makeup on some of them. They had like a Chelsea smile where their things stapled together. Oh, it looks so realistic. I mean, obviously not as realistic as like a Hollywood film, but like, you know, really, really.
Well, the thing is, when you are in there and you've got
the
darkened lighting
yeah.
and things like that, you can't tell any difference if it's
brilliant.
real or not. Do you know what I mean?
It's brilliant.
It really does what it's supposed to do.
All the strobes, all the animatronics, all the they've just got machines that make boom, boom, boom sounds. Do you know what I mean? So as you're walking past, it feel like someone just punched the wall next to you, as they've got these machines in the wall that sort of like make loud banging noises. So that completely adds to it as well.
Yeah.
Is there
This
any
is what I mean. They really use the space well. Where there's not a actor,
yeah.
there's an animatronic, and where there's not an animatronic, there's something that's making a
Smoke,
noise, or
water.
there's smoke, or there's
Yeah.
water, or there's
You know.
a light, or you
something
know,
blowing on your leg?
yeah.
Or
There's always something
yeah.
that you're focusing on, and again, something else will get you.
like, I'm not expecting to be as scared as I once was of scare mazes, because my experience of scare mazes has completely changed. Like,
The more you do,
yeah,
the less they affect you.
I wouldn't say I'm desensitized, but I definitely can tell when something's going to make me jump, and I have to sort of give myself over to it. But this one, I was giving myself over to it, but sometimes it really did catch me off guard. So, do you know what I mean? Like they do really work hard to make sure you get jumped, and it is really good. I think we saw a family actually walk out after the first maze.
Yeah.
To be
You got
escorted out.
Couldn't hack it.
Couldn't hack it. And then, speaking of hacking it, once you get out of the teeth,
You're locked in a cage.
you're locked in a cage, and some guy runs in with a chainsaw. Absolutely amazing. It's
Great
brilliant.
finale.
And then you've got like this whole little bar area.
What a fantastic night. The thing is, it's always a bit of a downer when you can't film, because you want to capture as much as you can for the camera.
Yeah.
Especially for the vlog if you are vlogging it. But that said, you know, there is certain upsides to it in that it feels more personalised. You have one of your rights, again, another one to use your phone taken away from you. Because once you enter there, they say you cannot get your phone out. Not even to make notes or send texts. They did call me out for that as well.
They
I was trying to get notes, because you experience a lot and you want to try and remember everything so you can review it afterwards.
Yeah. Which we've done.
So you do have, again, your phone depraved from you. They really do work well with deprivation of senses, plunging you into darkness, claustrophobia, sights, sounds, smells, everything. It's a great event, it really is. So, you know, we couldn't really film much in there, but we hope that this does give you an idea of what the event is about. We do not have a bad word to say about Scaregrounds at all, whatsoever. For me, it's 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. You know, amazing scare event. Really detailed. One of these ones where I think it's been going for a few years now, hasn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know how long this has been going for.
You can tell it's been going for a while though, because
they've
like what the thing is with some of the scare mazes that we've been to so far is like they're in their early days.
Yeah.
So they're still like teething and figuring out how they can get the best out of this and the best out of that. But this one has clearly been going for a while. It's worked out all the kinks. It knows exactly how to use the space it's got. It knows exactly how to get the most out of the actors it's got. It really does just tick all the boxes. You know, I'm struggling to find anything to really critique it on, apart from, you know, there could be, I don't know, a bit more efficiency in some of the, like, you're queuing a bit sometimes, but even then, like, that's fine. It was fine, wasn't it?
Yeah, because you like to have a bit of downtime, you like to have a bit of a breather, you like to process what's just happened before you think, right, let's go again. What's this one about?
Yeah, because the only personal thing that I have against it is we couldn't film in between mazes.
Yeah.
But then everything was a scare zone. So,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Technically, you are still in a maze. So this is the thing. It's like, you know, the only thing I'm annoyed about is the fact that I couldn't record it to show, or we couldn't record it to show.
And I don't really mind about not recording in mazes. I understand that.
Yeah.
But It's in between.
In between,
them.
yeah.
It's in between them.
Especially when you're trying to like make something like this, it sort of hinders it. But that, you know, that's not their problem. Their problem is making us terrified, and they need a brilliant job of that. So, you know,
True. What it really does feel like, if you've ever watched like documentaries online about people in America where they have home haunts and they make it themselves, it feels like one of them, but on a bigger scale. It really does, because they've got the animatronics, they've got the actors, and they've got all the special effects and props that one of them would use in a home haunt, but it really is on a bigger scale. Don't come here thinking that it's going to be mediocre or you know, half put together or whatever, because this is a top production, big scale scare event. And don't think anything less of it. Just because of the outside, you can't see much going in. When you're in there, the sets are big scale, the animatronics are next level, and the actors really know how to scare you. As Sean says, it ticks all the boxes.
Yeah. I think another thing that I need to mention about this is that it is a little bit guided, in the sense that they have people who stop you, talk to you before you go into each maze. Now, I'm not one that's really a big fan of guided scare mazes. Like London Dungeons and stuff like that is a guided scare maze, because you're always with someone who's sort of like telling you this story. What I like about this is it's sort of semi-guided, semi-story based. So there is a story, and it is clear what the story is, and the story is made clear to you before you go into each maze.
Yeah, perfect.
So it's semi-guided, but once you're in there, the actors guide you by scaring you in the right direction.
Yes.
And they, like, it depends on, different mazes are slightly different, in the sense, like the first one, not the first scare zone, the first maze, was it the
experiment?
The experiment was less guided than, for example, the Jack the Ripper one. That was more guided, because you were guided by the town people. And that was more, and again with the Dollhouse, you were guided from room to room by these people, but they were there to scare you more than to guide you, which is something that a lot of guided tours get wrong, whereas they're more focused on showing you where to go than focused on scaring you. Again, another box ticked, another amazing, well, not amazing, but another really well done thing that they've done there, and the whole event just is absolutely brilliant. Anyways, we have had an absolutely very long day, a very long drive to get here.
It's well worth the drive, though.
Oh, yeah.
100%. It's well worth the drive.
Yeah.
Seriously, come from wherever you are to come here.
Yeah.
It's worth it, and at £20 as well.
In the northwest,
really getting your money's worth. You really are.
You know, if you live in Scotland, maybe it's not worth a trip down, but if you live in if you live in the northwest, or like, you know, well, is Leeds in the northwest? I think it's in the
northeast.
Northeast, isn't it? We drove across. So you live in the northwest or the northeast?
North.
Yeah, you live in the north. Then it's a good one.
Well worth the venture.
Well worth it. Yeah, it's brilliant. Anyways, we've got a long drive back, so we're going to have to shoot off. But thanks for watching our video.
If you liked what you see, click that like button. It always helps us see which ones are doing well. If you have been to this event, or plan on coming to this event, or have experienced it, let us know your experiences of it in the comments. We'd love for a bit of interaction. And if you like what you see and want to see some more, please subscribe to the channel. It's free.
And we will catch you on another video.